Hey, today's going to be a good day. I have Sekou Pyle. Oh my gosh. Cannot believe I got the man here with me, Sekou Pyle.
What's
Hail,
up,
he's
Jackie?
a New Jersey guy, so all you East Coast people look out. And I have no idea what's going to happen in this.
Yeah, we're gonna cut
I
it
have
loose.
no idea what's going to happen. All I know is that he is the man in terms of his whole thing is deal a day and making millionaires. And he's a father of five with life work balance, right? So stay tuned here real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll just see what happens with Sekou. Okay,
Jackie, you got a
buddy.
bunch of great glasses, man.
I
It's just
do.
awesome.
I got this little thing here. It hides like you and me. We got the glasses going on. So, what's your passion?
My passion. Uh, wow. You know what? Over 50, the passion is peace, right? I want to create a world that I can just sit down and read a book and not have to worry about anything. Um, and with the size of my family, both external and internal, right? I never get a moment to myself. So my passion is one extra bathroom in whatever house I'm in.
You have dogs?
I do have a 75-pound, 7-month-old Siberian Husky,
Nice.
and
Lots of hair.
she's high strung and hairy, baby. Let's go.
So, the reason I mentioned that is we talking about getting peace in the bathroom. If you have dogs, it's kind of the sign of a successful woman is the number of dogs that follow her to the bathroom. But that's that's from something else. Okay, so Sekou, I heard something about passion for making millionaires. What
Yes,
about
yes,
that?
yes. So my mission, I mean, I literally have a mission to make a millionaire out of every single person in my ecosystem. So if you're in my ecosystem, if you're in my atmosphere and you are willing to work, you definitely can become a millionaire. Just lean in.
Start from the beginning and be a millionaire, or where do you have to be
Anywhere,
in your
anywhere you
ecosystem?
are. So the name of the company is called Start at Zero, right? I
Hmm.
was uh, I was married once, and when you get divorced as a dude, you tend to go to zero, right? And
Or as a gal, you can too. Yes.
well, yeah, I've never been a gal, right? But I do know that it can happen, right?
Joking.
So as a salesperson, your life is sort of in this weird flux that y- you're often waiting for your next check, right? You're often waiting for the next deal. You're often waiting for. Well, I got to this point in my career that I'm not actually waiting for anything. I made a vow that I was never going to go a week without a paycheck in real estate. So all of my work sort of bulletproofed that whole zero space. So when I got to zero, there was no fear. I knew where the money came from, and I realized that as a person, man, we could reset the clock just about any time. It's never too late, and you can once you get to that space, man, money isn't an issue. Success isn't an issue. It's just a matter of when and how soon and how much, right? How much by when.
Well, that's kind of the way I talk to it is talk about it rather is getting to a place of choice,
Hmm.
right? There used to be a thing called retirement, right? And that was the goal I'm going to retire and whatever, get my gold watch and pension. And that's, it's not even on the radar anymore. But the point of the exercise is get to a place of choice.
Hmm.
And am I doing what I want to do out of choice? So it sounds like, so can you read a book, Sekou? Can you
I,
find some time?
you know what? I do manage to find time to read and to enjoy myself. The youngest kid is an attention intensive kid. He's in karate and football and this and that, but he got pretty sick last year. And so whatever disposable time I had before he got sick sort of gets eaten up in the paying attention to him, and not in a negative connotation, right? It's like just making sure he's okay and taken care of. The COVID thing affected him very differently. He was the 1 in 60 kid that caught the MISC, multi-system inflammatory syndrome in children. It attacked all of his systems: nervous,
Oh my
muscular,
gosh.
skeletal, digestive, and he was ringing the bell to heaven. He was knocking on the door, and he turned it around. Little tough. He's a little badass, right? So he turned it around, and he was cursing out the doctors in the hospital that was giving him the needles. But what it did for me was it sort of put an emphasis on the fact that we are surrounded by non-refundable moments, right? We are surrounded by these
I
non-refundable
love that.
moments. And so
Non-refundable
when you said work-life balance in the beginning, I laughed, right? Because it's life and then work, whatever else, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So my time is spent now reading to him, or we're doing things together that I probably would not have done were it not for that pump the brake that he gave me in December 2021.
I love that. I love that. Well, so tell me a little bit more about your story. So, you and I are both with eXp Realty now, and we we love it, we believe it, and I think we have in common that we're students of the game. I know I started out in the 90s, let's just put it that way. And from day one, you feel me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm right there with you, sis.
and I thought, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Right? All of these people who really, most of them had no business being there, running around doing the same thing. And it's like, what's the matter with you people? Let's build a business that runs like a business. And what you're talking about, if you need to pump the brakes because your son has got, pretty darn sick, be able to do that. And so it's been my mission. And I've been studying models in real estate since day one, when there were no models.
Yeah.
And then it led me to here.
Yeah.
So tell me about your how'd you end up here?
Well, all right. So similar to you, I remember, the 90s in a business perspective as well, right? So, I've been there with you, right?
Lack of business perspective.
Yeah. And so what I have begun to do is I've begun to describe real estate as if you opened a bakery, right? And so this is who I am, right? So
this one.
I asked my agents that I'm working with, I'm like, okay, let's imagine for a second. I think fourth grade brains are the most powerful brains on the planet, right? So I often ask adults to suspend their adult selves and to go back to their fourth grade self, right? I said, let's imagine for a second that you're opening a bakery, right? Let's just talk about just opening a bakery. This is going to be the thing that you did. This is your passion project. You're opening your bakery. How many people do you think would open the bakery to work the cash register? And then everybody looks at me and they sit on their hands. I'm like, yeah, well, that's what the fuck you keep doing as a real estate agent. You keep getting into real estate to work the cash register, right? Oh, I want to be a great customer service rep. I want to be a great. I'm like, if I was to use Kathy's perspective, real estate as a career, not as a job, right? So if you were to open a bakery, chances are you'd be a pretty damn good baker. You'd be a pretty damn good chef, pastry chef. You'd have some pride around your cakes and your pies and your donuts or whatever. The sign out front might read the world's greatest donuts. It is not the world's greatest transaction manager, right? Like, it's just never going to be that. And so, yeah, you do have to have someone that works the cash register, and you do have to have someone that sweeps up the flour, and you do have to have someone that puts the stuff into the front window, but that ain't the focus of your business. And we run around in real estate as if putting stuff on the MLS, as if, the idea of having an open house is like the biggest thing in the world. Like, there's no passion in it. So what I've begun to do is I've begun to emphasize the lifestyle of the business of real estate. And this is how
I'm loving you, Sekou.
Yeah. And I know you pick up what I'm putting down. Yeah. It's pretty damn awesome when you're on this plane where I don't worry about production. I produce enough business. I know where to go to get it, so that when I do focus on coaching, and that's where most of my focus is now. Mm-hmm. When I do focus on coaching, it comes from a pure perspective. And I know you know what I'm talking about, right? Where it's you see these agents and they're running around like remember when we had the old football hockey games where you turn it on and they'd just be like, you
Yeah.
know, magnets on the board. That's what I see.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
for those agents that are cutting through the BS, that are doing what they need to do in order to make their reality happen. They are making the donuts, they are making the pies and cakes, and they're allowing the market to sell it, and they ain't afraid of it.
Well, I told you before we got started on this thing, I want to talk to you about some coaching and training for myself. And didn't I do to train teams too, or just agents, or
Absolutely.
what do you do?
So there's 3 levels of the stuff that I'm doing, right? So I do one-on-one coaching with agents, just depending on, what their needs are. I do group coaching / team coaching, right? So group coaching, agents that are not in a group, but are together in accountability, and then groups that are teams that need some extra push and things like that for accountability. And then I do this thing. I just started this, Kathy. I'm so freaking awesome and excited about it.
Anything you're doing, I'm down.
This quantum agent teaching. I did so much virtually last year that like we just took all of our processes and just put them down on paper for other people to do.
Yeah.
And it's just been amazing. And I have the most fun coaching teams. It's like being an elite football coach.
It's I don't know the right adjectives here, but this is a true statement that the most successful among us seek out the model that they are gravitated to, right? And then they take that model and duplicate it. The strugglers are going to go out and try to reinvent the wheel. So I love what you said. You put your systems down and you said, here you go. Here's the roadmap. And your people, I know, I just know that if you have something successful and someone takes your roadmap and executes it, worry about tweaking it later, just execute it now, and then you're going to have some success.
We come from the action review coach perspective. So that's how it is. ARC, action, take the action, review it, clean it up, coach it to grow it, right? So our motto is
accountability.
Make a mess, clean up the process. I mean, clean up the progress. Make a mess, clean up the progress.
Well, it's realtors do tend to be ready, fire, aim. So I think that's probably a good way to deal with it.
Dude,
so
before
you came here, you were with a different company,
as
we all were.
Yeah.
Why? And you were successful. You were leading 67 agents, multiple states, expansion teams. I mean, you guys were killing it. There was no, reason to make a move. But what was it that what was your thought process around that?
I tell you what. So on the surface, there was no reason, but the questions that I kept asking, Kathy, was, like, how does this help the weakest agent on my team? How does this help the new agent on my team? How does this help? And so specifically, how does the model help this agent? Like what do I get for the dollar that I spend, right? And so collectively, we were at a very nice cap. We would cap every year. All of the agents on the team would cap and things like that. But like I was like, so for the money that we were spending in cap, what did we get in return? And so the problem as I saw it was that it was a great, it looked great, but then the execution never matched up with the way so the audio and the visual never really quite matched up, right? And so I found myself having to travel to different market centers in order to coach and train my own agents so that they would be productive, because I couldn't rely on the market center to do that same job. And then I started asking questions like, and I mean, forgive me if there's anybody out there that's scratching their head as a result of what I'm going to ask you. But if you are really, really true about your business, if you're really examining your business, there's a cost analysis for the return. Like there's a cost return analysis that you have. Any great coach will tell you to do that, right? Your broker should tell you to do that, right? And so if I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to run my team through your organization, the natural question should be, how much of that money did you help me to create?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And there was crickets. And then you would ask, the people in charge, the team leaders, well, how many people on my team have you personally coached to capping? And it'd be crickets. Well, how many
Crickets,
people
yeah.
in the market center have you personally coached to capping? Crickets. Right. And so what wound up happening is that I realized that I was doing the training, I was doing the coaching, I was doing the motivating, and I had to do it. Although the expansion system meant that I didn't have to do it, I had to do it even more because, just because of the way it happened. So when when we were looking to move, we were talking to some leadership, and I'll never forget this. This is an anecdote, right? So my wife was actually the Dofi, if you understand that language, right? So my wife was actually the director of first impressions in our market center.
Okay.
Right. And she got the job and cleaned up that position. It was a mess, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's highly organized, she's highly skilled. She left a very, very high position in the city to come out and help me with this position. Well, when we decided to leave, her position there had nothing to do with my production, had nothing to do with what we do. And they were letting her go because we decided to leave. The team decided to leave. So I sat down with the OP. I sat down with the owner, and I was just like, I don't understand why that would be. She was like, well, what did you expect? And I looked at her and I said, I expected you to be an adult about this. I said, let me ask you this question. You're worried about all the people that are leaving with us. We took 600 people with us when we left.
You took six. Wait, say that again.
We took 600 people with us when we left.
Well, that's a nice round number.
It was more like 6 and some change because they also came from various market centers. But I digress, right? So she was like, well, look at what you did. You made this mass exodus. And I said, okay. I said, you can blame me for that. But I said, of the people that left, how many cups of coffee have you had with them? Say, I've met with them. I've had cups of coffee. I know what their children's name are. I know what their goals are. I know what their struggles are and how to do deals. I know what is necessary for them to succeed. And so if I am leaving, their natural question would be, why would you choose this new organization? Why would you choose this new brand over that? And I said, you don't even know that question because you've never met with them. And I was like, and that's the issue. And she looked at me and was like, I said, look, I'll stay if you can tell me the name of one person who you personally coached to capping. And well, obviously we didn't stay. So
what? So why? Okay. I got all that, So what was the draw? I mean, you had choices, right? You could have been independent, right? You're doing all that. Why not, 600 people? I mean, golly gosh, they might say, why not do that? Why do this?
Two things. Number one, I'm not interested in ever being the owner or broker of any real estate firm in the history of life.
Amen, brother.
The only industry, Mike Ferry used to say, the only industry more dramatic than real estate is professional wrestling. And that's why they put all of them on the first floor.
Use that. That's a good one.
So, and I firmly believe that. But the second thing is that, so we went and met with people who later became our sponsors, right? We had there was the eXp con or one of these major events that we went out to. And I think we came out to Vegas. Hello, Nevada.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And
just there.
Yeah. We sat down at a table with all of these producers, Tammy Pack and Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer and all of these folks, right? And like usual, right, we were the way that we built business up until now was a very guerrilla style, right? GU, not GO, right? So we would make the Frankenstein monster. We'd take parts and pieces from all of these places and cram it together and make it work, and then we would be successful. We sat at that table and I took out my notepad and I'm taking notes and I'm trying to sneak and try to, glean information from people. I'm sitting next to Kyle Whistle.
And they're like, you don't just sneak, we'll give it to you.
Kyle snatched my notebook from me and wrote down numbers and was like, "Call me in the morning and I'll just tell you what the fuck, like enjoy your dinner." And it was that sort of
That's pretty
attitude.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was just like people giving freely at the highest level possible, that I didn't have to prove that I can do, 300 transactions to be at this table. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
no one asked me, oh, well, what's your production, before they started talking about theirs. And I'm very sensitive to this, right? So I always look at diversity as one of my first decision points. And one of the people that I met was a woman named Fee Gentry, who, Black woman, and is one of the top, muckety mucks at eXp. And I just fell in love. I fell in love with the freedom that it gave you. It was no longer a spot at the table. We were making a table, and we weren't making it from bits and pieces. We were definitely building it from a model that made sense, with instructions. Part A goes to part B in part C. And I haven't looked back since. We've tripled business since we've been here. My personal income has gone up a tremendous amount. If
Yeah.
you've never heard me say this before, Kathy, I'm going to say it on your show.
Okay.
I'm Black, rich, and spoiled, baby. I do what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a wonderful feeling.
It and that's that's the whole thing about working out a choice, right? How much you want to spoil yourself. That's one thing. I'm kind of a horsey gal, so I have a little bit of a horse addiction issue that
I see that behind you there.
Yeah, I got some horses, and so, but it's a career. Real estate's a career. You did it. You figured it out. You found the path. You found the tools. And, I'd love to have a whole other conversation about this craziness. People think that they're going to go work for a broker. And no, you're wrong. You are hiring
100%.
someone, and you are paying them X amount of money to take care of that.
Uh-oh. We just lost your audio. I just lost your audio. You hit something. There we go.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now.
That was magic.
So you hired somebody.
Anyway, I was on. So when you're choosing a broker, right, to a brokerage, you have to understand that you are hiring them. They are not hiring you. You are going to pay them money, and is what you get in return for your investment? Is it a fair equation?
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that when people change their lens a little bit, the perspective about it, that's what did you call it? You called it something.
The bakery?
No, not the bakery. You called it the return of the investment versus the return.
Yeah. So I look at my broker as a compliance officer that I've hired to make sure that I'm just in compliance. That's it.
That's good. Yeah.
Right. I think that we are, and this is no offense to any brokers out there. I'm not trying to take your job or anything like that, but I think we're evolving past the brokerage model. I think we've gone the gambit of needing daddy to make sure that we're okay, or mama to make sure we're okay, and doing good stuff, right?
Officer. Yep. I think that's a perfect way to put it. And I will say, and then we're gonna wind this up here too, because I know everybody's got live. You take a sip. We got that Arizona iced tea in New Jersey. And so I'm 33 years in the business. This past year, I joined eXp in April of last year. So that year was the first year in my 33 years where I had actually been paid to be at the brokerage.
You get broke to be a broker. There you go.
Why they call him the broker, right? Right.
So,
yeah.
So I'm going to tell you really quickly a very quick anecdote, right? So my team, my coaching team, I call them my team, right? My coached agents are my team. We develop a lot of leads together. We develop a lot of deals together. And I have one member of my team, lovingly called my team. Her name is Lisa. Lisa G, we'll call her right now. I don't know if she wants me to put her business out there. But Lisa was a school teacher last year. 2021, she was a school teacher for half the year. And the middle of 2021, she decided to jump into real estate full with both feet. And she was like, just tell me what to do, say, we'll do it. And I'm like, okay, you got to develop your business. And I went through a deal a day program. Well, today, Lisa just capped and she is only, check this out, 2 months into her year. So she's going to enjoy 10 months of capped of 100% commission. She's definitely going to be an icon agent. And all she's ever known was teaching and then eXp.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say this, that it is the formula, it is the recipe, it is the rule book that you said, like you put down the guidelines, and if you just follow it, right? So in my scripting company, in my coaching company, we call it the script of process, right? And if you just follow the script of process, you can put your own spin on it, you can put your own tonality on it. If you just follow the script of process, you're going to get the same results every time.
You know what? To be continued for sure.
Yes,
to be continued for sure. And they say, you know, about the model where we are is once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you finally, you know, and it took me a while. It took me a while, and I consider myself a student of the game. And then finally, when I figured it out, I was like,
yeah, was it the Home Alone?
Yeah. Like, you guys are punking me.
Yeah, listen, the first rev share check I got was $300, right? The best rev share check, I mean, the best profit share check I've ever gotten from my old company, right? I don't know if we're mentioning Keller, our old company, right?
I might have given a clue.
The best one that I've ever received from Keller was $1,200, and that was like for the year or something like that, right? I'm averaging a little bit better than 5 figures every single month in rev share. And so just like everybody else, I thank Keller for my lunch, and I thank eXp for my mortgage, right? So
well, you know, and also that's another good call too, because you just don't, you know, the ability to be an owner, the ability to have multiple pillars, whether you choose to take advantage of it or not, you know, number one, what it's going to do for your business. But, you know, I needed a breath of fresh air, and I got that and more. So, Sekou, how do people get in touch with you? Because you know what?
So I'm pretty easy to find. You see that name up there, Sekou Pyle?
I do.
Anywhere you put that in, it's going to lead back to me. Your best bet is to reach me on Instagram. I talk to agents on Instagram. I talk to buyers and sellers on Facebook. So if you want to talk to me, reach me there, or you could just call me. Send me a message. Call me 646-285-7388. My number is everywhere you can find me.
Okay. All right. Well, you're the man. Thanks so much for your time. I really enjoyed this time together.
Can I make one offer before you guys go?
Of course.
If you mention Kathy Courtney, whatever I'm selling, you get a nice little discount. How about that?
There you go. So when I call you,
you get the family discount, Kath. You're already in.
I got my discount code.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Thanks so much for your time.
Love you, man.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Bye.